3, 2, 1. Welcome to another Friday edition of the Friday Face-Off on WDFN.com. It's a good thing you're here and you're watching it on Friday because the free agent frenzy, well, it's never really a frenzy, but free agency for baseball starts tonight or tomorrow morning, Saturday, 12:01. It's Eric Chase, Matt Shepard. You are now the assistant to the assistant secretary of the traveling GM for Dave Dombrowski.
I've been that role. I've been in that role.
Well, congratulations. We've promoted you. They're looking for your suggestions. They might not use them, but the Tigers obviously have some flaws and weaknesses that could be fixed through free agency.
Well, first, Dave Dombrowski needs a corner outfielder. Now, would I go get Torrey Hunter? I suppose that this all depends on the amount of money you're willing to spend. Would you go get Torrey Hunter? Would you go get Josh Hamilton? Look, these are pie-in-the-sky ideas. It's pretty easy to say, but Torrey Hunter at age 37 had a really good year last year. Can you imagine him batting second in that lineup? Still a good defensive outfielder, still has a good arm, still brings a positive attitude, that rah-rah type guy. You have been on the Nick Swisher bandwagon for a while now, and I respect that, but I don't think he's as consistent as this team needs to be. This team is too top-heavy. We would all agree that. They need some balance. So what do they need? They're going to need a backup catcher. It's not your first priority because Gerald Laird says, I want to go someplace when I'm going to play more, make a little bit of money. You better hope that Alex Avila returns to 2011 for him. They'd like to re-up with Anibal Sanchez. Is that possible? I think another team's going to offer him more money and put him higher in their rotation than Detroit will at the number 4 spot. That 4th, 5th starter may have to be homegrown. You may have to deal with Rick Porcello again. You may have to hope that Drew Smyly takes over that spot. And then that corner outfielder, I think, is the most pressing need for this club. I think everything else they can take care of in-house. I'm worried about the corner outfielder. I'd go get a guy like Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, I'm off the Nick Swisher thing because I don't think they're going to go long-term with somebody unless they...
Well, how much is long-term for him? Would he want a
5
3, 4
years?
Yeah, that's way too long. You're not going to do that.
The only thing, and I'd be against it, but it's in their DNA where Josh Hamilton shows up. I wouldn't put it past them, but I agree with you. I want a veteran outfielder, 2 years, reasonable price, who can hit all over the lineup, play some good defense, not be a liability,
sure,
fit into this team. Hunter, I know some people like Ichiro. I've been talking about Shane Victorino.
Ichiro's 39, though.
And played really well in New York.
No, I think he did. I think he played well in New York, but he didn't play very well in Seattle.
Well,
so I wonder what that would be.
Well, when you're playing in front of 15 people, I think it's kind of tough to get going. And
but that would concern me. If that's what it takes to get a guy to play to his contract and play to what is expected, his skill level, it's in front of how many fans, then that's a concern for me.
When you do it for a decade, it can become tiresome. So I like Ichiro, I like Victorino for an economical buy. So I want that outfielder that you speak of. The next thing on my shopping list,
do you like Shane Victorino because he's a former Philly, just wondering?
No, because I think you can come in and you can get him cheap, and he
didn't do much in L.A. when he went there.
I know. I think he was kind of blown away that he got shipped out, and all that stuff was going on in L.A. Like, here comes a slew of outfielders.
Right.
I don't think he adjusted, but I think playing for maybe one more deal after this, he would fit. He's got some pop. He's got some speed. He's like the Hunters and the Ichiros that game. Next thing, I want to go get a closer for a year.
Why? You don't think you have a closer on this team right now?
No.
Wow.
There is no closer. I want a guy who has closed before.
Well, you do.
Who's that?
Dotel's closed before. He closed 24, 25 games with Pittsburgh. He has over 100 saves in his career.
I like him in the role he's in. My suggestions would be a Soria, a Madsen, a Broxton. Say, here's a year. Here's $5-6 million bucks.
You think Soria's going to sign for 1 year? You think Broxton will sign for 1 year?
Yep.
I think they'll require at least 2. And I think you have right now enough arms. And I'm not a big proponent of bullpen by committee or closer by committee. I think you have enough arms on this team right now where you'll be able to find that closer.
I don't disagree, but it would make me feel a little bit more comfortable if you had a guy who has done it and it isn't 39 years old like Dotel, because I like him in his role. And lastly...
It's funny, you want a 39-year-old left fielder who's going to play every day, but you don't want a 39 closer who pitches every once in a while.
Everybody ages differently.
Okay,
and the last thing on my shopping list is a Scott Bakerish, Joe Blanton-ish type of guy to challenge or make Drew Smyly earn the 5th role. Everybody bitches about Rick Porcello.
Rick Porcello might be that guy. He might be helping him earn
that.
No,
I've already slotted in Porcello as like the 4. Everybody complains about what you get from. He was really good the final quarter of the season. Didn't get a lot of offense.
Too inconsistent. That's the problem.
But
he wins double digits every. But I've said this for a long time. He is a 4.
Right.
He's a 4 or 5. What more do you want from a 4 or a 5? It's funny how Doug Fister goes 10-10 as a 2, maybe a 3. Everyone's okay with it, probably more because of the ERA, but it's a trust factor. People don't trust Rick Porcello in this town. They probably never will. They constantly forget he's only 23 years young.
So let's pay $15 million a year for a guy who's going to be a 4th starter and then jack up the prices for the guys in front of him when we have to pay them. So an arm to challenge for that 5th role if needed. And it doesn't even have to be a big ticket guy. It can just be somebody to come in who's healthy, eats innings, wants to be on a winning team. Those are the 3 things I'm looking for. And yeah, it'd be nice to have a nice backup similar to Gerald Laird.
I agree. The Gerald Laird loss might be a little bit more significant than everybody thinks without him. And he batted .282 this year. A guy who can handle the pitching staff. As a backup catcher, I'm not really concerned with what he bats. I want to make sure he's good defensively and he handles the pitching staff. That might be a void that will be tough to fill.
Yeah, the only thing that they'll have to get with him is to make sure, I would assume it's a right-hander, so that if there's the same situation with Avila
Makes sense.
this year, and bless Gerald Laird's heart if he's looking for more playing time and maybe even a starting role. He probably got a lot more at-bats than he should have this year with the injuries to Avila.
I think you're right about that.
So bless him if he can go out there and get like $5 million to start for somebody.
Good luck finding it.
Tigers postseason hot stove. It's been on all week. It officially gets going tonight with the start of free agency, winter meetings, trades. It's going to be fun as they try to go from 88 wins over 90 wins and certainly more wins in the World Series, we hope. WDFN.com, our Friday face-off. See you next week.